Hello and welcome to the Dragon's Lair podcast in association with Riverside Sports Bar, the home for live sport and great burgers in Newport. And guess what, boys and girls? It's another victory pod.
Oi, oi. Dragons. I haven't got the same energy as last week, being hungover, but
All last night, to be honest.
It's funny though, isn't it? You wait all year for a victory pod and then two come along at once. Brilliant. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. Joining me is Gavin Thomas and Gav Clay. Hello, gents. How are you feeling? Are you hungover? Emotional? How are you feeling today?
Fragile.
yeah, emotionally fragile. I rewatched the game, and at times when the crowd was cheering and we're scoring great tries, I nearly burst into tears. I was like, "Oh dear me, I better go walk the dog and sort myself out."
You want to get a life, Gav, honest to God. I know you love the Dragons, but seriously, mate, you want to get a life. After the victory poll we did last week, when we beat Leon, we had a lot of comments. And this is just a selection of the comments that we had over on the YouTube channel. I want you to hear this, Gareth, as well, because it's quite funny. So these are some of the comments. I have really been so happy for a guy on the internet as I am for Gareth to finally be on a winning pod. Here's another one. Cardiff fan, yeah, but I had to tune in for this one. Finally, a win. And then what else have we got? After the final whistle, I was like, I can't wait to listen to this podcast to celebrate the win from a delighted Ospreys fan. I'm an Ospreys fan. Here's another one. I'm an Ospreys fan, and it's one of my favourite pods. Quality win, quality pod. What do you think of that?
Great stuff. Love that.
Good, isn't it? We get a lot of listeners who are Ospreys fans. I find that really interesting. We got
Nice
so many
bunch, the
Ospreys
Ospreys, and
They are.
they're good fans. Yeah,
They are. And we've had a couple from Cardiff as well. Yeah.
not so nice, but whatever.
No. Right, we will talk about that famous win in a bit later on. But first, we have a special guest with us. He's worked for major global businesses such as Dyson, Samsonite, and Tria Beauty. He was the interim CEO at the Dragons, and along with the ownership group, played a key role in taking Dragons back into private hands from WRU ownership. He is currently the co-president of Major League Rugby in America. Welcome to the Dragons Lair, Graeme Bradbury. How are you, Graeme?
I'm really good, thanks. Just come back into Wales, so been back a couple of days. So jet lag's getting there, but no, I'm really good, thanks, and good to see that you're all struggling after yesterday.
Oh yeah, we are. We are struggling. I'm very tired. Oh dear. It was worth it though. It was all worth it. Right. So I've given you an introduction, but would you mind telling us a little bit more about yourself, in particular around the Dragons, how you ended up becoming the interim CEO and how that led to you becoming co-president of Major League Rugby? That's a pretty big and exciting gig, isn't it? So tell us about it, Gray. How did it all happen for you?
That's a really short question you just asked me there, Jamie. So I'll give it a go. So yeah, absolutely. So look, a little while ago, I was working for the family office of somebody that you guys probably know, Ho Young Ha. So I was working on a number of different things with him, and we got talking about the Dragons. I've been a season ticket holder at the Dragons for probably over a decade. Used to take my son along as well. We were on the North Terrace and all the wind and rain and cold and everything else that the weather threw at us on there. So, I've been supporting the Dragons for a very long time. And through my relationship with Ho Young, probably back in 2019, I think, we started to sort of reach out to see what was going on, because obviously under union ownership, and the ambition there was there to take it private. So I spoke with Brad Hayward and got connected up with David Buttress, probably I think it was like late 2019. And obviously COVID hit, so thankfully we didn't get anything done too quickly, or else that would have been a quite substantial problem. But we started talking over the COVID time, whilst we were in like lockdown, having some video calls, etc. And obviously things take a long time, but there was a ticking deadline on there, and there was a lot of work to be done as well. And I can't go into too much detail, to be fair. I would say people like James Chaplin were really really important in what we had to get done, and what we had to show when it came to WRU. All sorts of different things like land values, etc., 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 which is really really difficult. I mean, you've got a really big area there in the old Sainsbury's in the centre of Newport, which has been derelict for a lot of years now. So that land just hasn't sold. So how do you value a 9 acre site with a stadium bowl in it? Pretty tough question, to be fair. And yeah, dealing with the union was difficult. I don't think that's particularly changed, but it looks at what's been happening from afar. Yeah, I mean, I do recall one night, it was like a Tuesday night, like 11 o'clock at night. I was talking to David Buttress, and we just thought this isn't going to work. I can't see how this is going to happen. And the boys were back in pre-season already by then. And we actually arranged to go to Munich at like 6:30 on the Thursday morning, because they had an off day for training on the Wednesday, because we didn't feel it was right that the players would train and potentially get injured if we didn't know that this was going to happen and potentially the season wasn't going to happen. If somebody picked up an injury and couldn't try and pick up another contract somewhere else, and that's how tight it was. We have to be. I don't know if that story's out there or not, but certainly I know David likes to go jump on the odd podcast and talk a bit, but that's certainly something that we were, something that we were planning. Fortunately, we managed to turn things around. I think the deal was good for everybody. But yeah, so as part of that and looking at the transition, I was asked to be interim CEO. I knew it was a short-term gig. I helped do the due diligence. I understood the business fairly well, and there was going to be some teething problems coming from the transition from a union ownership over to private ownership. So it was really strict management on the budgets, etc. But look, we had a great team of people. Di Flanagan's he's moved on to great things now at Saracens, and
doing all right, isn't he? Old
yeah,
Di, fair play to him.
and the fact that he's picked up that role in the first place just goes to show how highly regarded he is as an individual and how well he works with the players. Yeah, but there were so many good people at Dragons. I'd like to really sort of point out the community team as well. We doubled the staff on the community team. Mike Sage doing a fantastic job there. The outreach that they do, especially this time of year when there's a lot more people getting to see a friendly face, kids getting exercise and getting fed, frankly, in a lot of places. So, really sort of proud of that, what we did there. Obviously, the results on the pitch weren't what we'd want, but the whole idea was to stabilize the business overall. So, we're still here. And the last 2 weeks has been back-to-back wins, which is fantastic. Let's hope that carries on into Boxing Day. I think we can all hope for that. Certainly everybody on this podcast. And then back at home on New Year's Day. So looking forward to seeing how that goes. But yeah, that did help me with the transition into Major League Rugby. I was talking to a few people in the States already. Alex Magleby being one, who I'm now co-president with in MLR. He actually got me my interview in the first place. So yeah, it went through a pretty long interview process. Got flown out there for the final. And yeah, obviously got offered the job, and I've been living out there now since November of 24. I actually live in Texas, which is a fantastic part of the world. The weather's a little bit different to here. I'm just starting to warm up a little bit, and it's a little bit brighter, to be fair. So yeah, I've really enjoyed my time in MLR. It's a completely different sort of party to the URC. The URC is all union owned, as you know, and it's quite rigid in what it can and can't do. Whereas what we've got is some really fantastic owners who give us flexibility to go out there and do unique stuff. And you'll see some stuff in our season that starts in late March of 26 that is just trying new things, absolutely trying new things to see what works. And I know World Rugby are watching to see how that happens and how successful it is. And I don't know if you saw the issue that I don't know if you saw the Ireland against New Zealand game in Chicago.
Yes.
After 3 minutes, there was like 4 minutes of dead time when like the TMO didn't come on and stuff like that. And we think we got a solution for that, and we're going to be trialing that. And I know World Rugby are really excited to see how that goes. So, but last year there was a lot of familiar faces around as well. I talk weekly with Steph Hughes still. He's at DC. He's on the coaching team now at DC because he's retired. But he got Simon Cross in DC as well. Last year we had Hugh Taylor up in Seattle, Aki in Utah. So there's a lot of Dragons faces around as well. So yeah, it's good to keep in touch with people.
Can I ask a question, Graeme? Is it down to the 6 teams now, MLR, for the next season?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's been a tough summer, and there's been a number of teams drop off. When you hear the costs of Welsh rugby, and then you understand some of the costs with MLR, where you have lots of different things going into this. I mean, just the insurance for players, the workers' comp is a huge burden on the business. So yeah, it is pretty attritional. But yeah, we have got 6 teams. We've got a home and away fixtures all the way through the season. And yeah, I think the product's going to be a lot better. I think we've got an ownership. The owners that are left now are really aligned as well. So they're really focused on the 2031 World Cup and making sure the US Eagles are in a position where they can absolutely maximize the opportunity of rugby in the US. So I think we may look back on this in a couple of years and actually say this was probably, something that happened that was actually probably good overall, but we'll see.
Yeah, because which teams? Nola, Miami. Who else was it? Or Toronto was a couple of seasons ago. They dropped out,
Toronto
didn't
was a
they?
couple of seasons ago, yeah.
Yeah.
So the team in Houston
Of course, yeah.
also
The,
went.
the
So
Saber
there
Cats,
were
yeah.
there were 2 teams in California. They've both gone away, but there's been a new team formed in California now as well,
hmm
for the Legion. And then the team in Utah, unfortunately, left quite recently.
Mm,
Stuff.
okay.
Do you mind me asking? Just, oh, sorry, Gav, were you gonna?
No, it's fine. No.
I was going to ask, just back on the Dragons. When you took over, and I think speaking for fans, we're so thankful that you got that over the line, so that we've still got a club to go and support. It does genuinely mean the world. What was the objective for that next season then? Because we're all fans and we watch the rugby, but there's so much more to any club than what's going on the field. What can you give us an insight into what the plan was for that sort of first year and the objections?
Yeah, I mean, there was really only one main goal, and that was
Mm,
financial stability. We had to manage income, outgoings, and look for opportunities to grow where we could. But certainly it was to give that stability, because yeah, there was a really strict budget in place, and we had to make sure that we were living within that budget and couldn't go outside it. So yeah, obviously the owners had contributed what they needed to at the start, but then it was my role to make sure that we didn't go outside of what we'd been allotted. So we did fine on that, and like I said, James Chapman did a great job pulling that together. And I think I talked to Reese Bloomberg occasionally. Actually, we were chatting this morning. So I know he's doing a great job there, and I hope it continues, especially after the last couple of weekends.
so you're still
Stuff,
keeping in
cheers.
touch with people at the Dragons, Grace, still, yeah?
Yeah, some people, some people.
Yeah.
Like I say, it's a little bit difficult from a completely different time zone. I sort of talk with David Buttress occasionally, mainly on message,
Hmm.
but yeah, no, it was a big part of my career, even though it was a relatively short time. But getting the actual deal done took quite a number of months, stroke years. So yeah,
Mm,
got pretty close over those times.
yeah. And I want to ask you about this. Now, you have already touched on it a little bit, to be fair, but you did play a very important role in getting the Dragons back into private ownership. Now, I know you can't go into too much detail around it for legal reasons. I get that. But can you just give us an idea of how difficult and challenging that was? Because obviously, COVID did delay the negotiations. We all know that. But just how challenging was it dealing with the WRU and trying to get that deal over the line? It was very stressful, wasn't it?
I mean, yes, it was very stressful. In fact, my wife's been lovingly showing me some photos of myself about 3 years ago. I got no grey hair, and then started working in rugby. Yeah, as you say, Jamie, I can't go into too much detail. In fact,
No.
hardly any at all, to be honest with you. What I can say is that the 3 gentlemen who are in the ownership group now really pulled together, and they wanted to make this work. And it was difficult times in that whilst we were yeah, the WRU isn't the easiest organization to deal with. If I can be kind, there's a lot of well-meaning people there, but actually
Yeah.
understanding what you're trying to get across and the points that you're trying to make when you're having a business discussion. At times it was difficult. It felt like at times we were sort of arguing against ourselves. So thankfully we got it done, like you said, and hopefully more and more people go out there, buy merchandise, buy tickets, come and support the team, be loud, be as hungover as you three are today.
Absolutely.
Spend the money at the bar and really get behind the boys because this was a chance it might not have been there, but we got it done, thankfully.
When you did get that over the line, then did you think, right, that's it, we can look forward and good times are ahead, or did you see the current state of Welsh rugby on the horizon?
That's a really interesting question, Gareth. I mean, it was pretty clear from watching the internationals and seeing the performances that were going on, more off the pitch than on the pitch, to be honest with you, that it was going to be a tricky time coming up. I think, I believe that WRU probably budgeted thinking it was always going to be full stadiums and everyone was always going to be in the top 3 of the Six Nations, and that was going to carry on, forever, which clearly can't happen. But you only had to look at that international against the Springboks outside the international window, which, let's be honest, we all knew was going to be an absolute car crash, and nobody turned up, and it was kind of, why did anyone even think that was going to be a good idea? We can't help but shoot ourselves in the foot, I guess, at times in Welsh rugby. So that was always a tricky part on the horizon, that you can only manage what's inside your control. And if the WRU decides to host a game outside the international window against the world champions and takes some of your team members away, then it's always going to be quite difficult in those sort of circumstances. So, and I think that's why, when I read quite about what's going on with interest with regards to WRU wanting to have the playing side of the business and just leaving the commercial side to the owners, because I've seen the reaction from the owners at the Dragons, and they're absolutely right. How can you have a commercial arm if you don't have any input whatsoever into the rugby arm? It's mind blowing. I don't really understand where it's coming from, and they're rightfully pushing back on it, and I wish them all the luck in the world with that, because that just shouldn't happen.
Yeah, you're right. It's absolutely
Completely agree.
bonkers. Yeah. So, as someone who was involved in Welsh rugby, then, what are your thoughts on the current mess in Wales? So, first the Union were committed to 4 teams, as we know. Then they wasn't. They then wanted what they called the optimal solution of 2 teams. Then they didn't. And now they want 3 teams. And it looks like Ospreys or Scarlets are most likely to be cut, a team in the West. Very sad state of affairs that we've got to this point, unfortunately. So, do you agree then, Gray, with the decision to cut a team? And how well do you think the current WRU leadership are doing on this issue?
Oof, just marched me into the minefield. Okay.
Absolutely.
So I don't know what the finances are like in the WRU. So that's a really difficult question to answer about how many teams should be there. I mean, what I would say is what they've put forward is a complete non-decision. 3 teams isn't a decision. From looking from the outside, it was always going to be either 2 or 4. And to go with 3 just basically, yeah, that's not a decision at all. What they're hoping there, I'm guessing, is that one of those 2 teams out west is going to fold, and then they don't have to make a decision. And it's just, yeah, it's almost a little bit spineless, to be honest with you. We've waited for all these months to have a decision, and then we kick it down the road another 2 years. And it's just ridiculous. And also, it doesn't fit for any of the partners as well. I mean, if you look at the URC as a competition, everyone's in 2s and 4s. So you got, Italy and Scotland as paired off against each other. Everybody else has got 4 teams. So there's conferences set up there. So that's why you can have multiple derbies, etc., etc. So for somebody, an entity that's a shareholder in the URC, to suddenly turn up and say, "Hey, here's our 3 teams," is just a nonsense. And I can see Dave Redden had to say that actually on his on the interview after the Springbok game about having to potentially put a semi-pro team. Can you imagine sending them down to Cape Town to play against the Stormers? I mean, did they not know that was going to happen? I mean, that'd be even scarier if they didn't know it was going to happen. They are shareholders in the URC. They know what their commitments are, and to think that was just going to, no, we'll just send down, I don't know. As much as I love, Peter Jeffries and Pontypool, I wouldn't want to send Pontypool down to Cape Town or Durban for those sort of games. So yeah, it's a complete non-decision, and it's if they were looking for a new way of bringing in money, I would suggest maybe, if kicking the can down the road as an Olympic sport, the WRU would be the gold medal every 4 years, frankly. And they need to start making decisions. And they need to do that based on what they're looking at in their own finances.
It's just no decision making, though, is it? They come up with a plan, but there's no actual logistical thinking. It's, oh, we'll do this. We'll do this. And nobody's ever gone, yeah, this is what we have to do because this is the structure we have.
No, absolutely, absolutely. It's just they're the only ones that can see what finances they've got, and we don't know how that's looking right now. And it could be that maybe two was the right answer. And I know people probably don't want to hear that, but it could have been that was the correct decision with a business head. If you're just going with your head rather than your heart. But to my mind, it was either two or four, and three just doesn't work for anybody. Especially, I really feel for the guys out in the Ospreys and the Scarlets as well, because how can they go out there and do commercial deals right now? How can they recruit and retain any of their players? It's just an absolute nightmare for them. So I really feel for them.
No, that's a good point. Although Ospreys are re-signing some of their players, which is quite interesting. What do you make of Dave Redden then? Because he's been a bit of a controversial figure, hasn't he, since he's come over here. But what do you make of him, Gray?
I mean, I can only read interviews and stuff like that. So he says he's listening. I don't know. He sort of went into the conversation saying we need two teams. Or is it optimal? I think you said it was, Jamie. I think that was
optimal solution.
That was their phrase, yeah, the optimal solution.
And then it sort of moved out to three, which doesn't work for anybody. So I don't know. It just feels like meet the new boss, same as the old boss. No decisions being made, and somebody just needs to have a bit of courage and make a proper decision.
Interesting. Okay, let's talk about rugby in America. So you are involved with Major League Rugby. You are the co-president. What does that involve then, Gray? What's your responsibilities?
Yeah, so well, there's two of us co-presidents, clearly. So Alex Magleby, who's an ex-USA Eagle, he was one of the founders of New England Free Jacks. He's been brought on board to really focus on strategy moving forwards. And by that, it's the fan experience. So I'm guessing that none of you guys have ever been to a New England game. But if you did, you see the fan experience there is fantastic. They have a couple of bands playing before the game. They do tailgating. The actual in-stadium experience is second to none. And what we want to do is make sure that's replicated across all our stadiums. So the fan experience is sort of standardized, if you like. And I've been really, really enjoying my American experience. If I just think of last weekend, I was at Ultimate Bullfighting on the Friday night, which was just fantastic. That's where the bulls get their own back on the bullfighters completely. No bulls are harmed at all, but the fighters are. And then went to NHL game, Dallas Stars on the Saturday night, where I mean it's just such an experience that you don't even realize ice hockey is even being played because there's so much going on around you, and it's just fantastic. And I went to Dallas Cowboys game on the Sunday night, and again it's just a 80,000 seater stadium. You hardly even notice that sport's taking place because there's so much going on. So it's just making sure that when our fans come in to see American rugby, they get the sort of treatment that they expect from other sports. So yeah, it's just really sort of that's what I have to do. I have to make sure that the pitches are standardized, they have the right lines on it, which I know sounds pretty easy in the UK, but over in the US we're using pitches that are on multi-surface, where you might have lacrosse being played on it or American football. Just making sure you have the right lines on the pitch in the first place is quite difficult at times. So yeah, we're just making sure that we're upskilling the referees as well. I don't know if this has been announced yet or not. When does this go out, Jamie?
It could be out tonight, actually, or at least in the morning.
So what you will see is obviously David Wilkinson, who you may know as the Irish referee. He's in charge of our referees over in MLR, and he's been doing a fantastic job. And there is actually going to be a team of MLR officials over for the under-20 Six Nations. And they will actually be doing one of the Wales games as well. So
cool.
Yeah, really proud of how far those officials are coming on under Wilco. So he's doing a fantastic job. So that's my side of the business. I'm kind of backward facing, making sure that nuts and bolts being done. We're making sure that TMO stuff is done properly. and trying to Americanize the game. So, like I say, you're going to see a couple of innovations in MLR this year, which who knows might come across the pond at some point in the future.
Are they all
I think
synthetic pitches, Graham?
No, they're not all synthetic, but there are
No.
some.
with the you mentioned like the sort of the match experience in America, and I presume they're quite open to it because that's what they're used to in other sports. Do you feel rugby in the UK is a bit? It's like it puts the golden handcuffs on itself with all rugby values and everything's got to be a bit traditional and it's a team sport. We don't promote players enough, I feel.
I
Have you got a
mean,
view on that?
maybe, but I think rugby's got such a heritage in the UK that that's kind of what's expected and the norm when you go to a rugby game. Whereas
Yeah,
in the US, when you go and see any sort of sport, whether it's high school football or all the way through to NHL, there's entertainment laid on absolutely everywhere. And whether it be your first game or your 101st game, there's people there to help you and support you to understand what's going on as well. Because rugby's a really complex sport. And if you come in to watch it for the first time and you don't understand what's going on, there's no real support there for you, then that can be quite difficult. So I think that's the major difference when we look at the US. But I mean, I think everyone likes to be entertained now. I'd love to
yeah,
take what we do in the US and bring it over to the UK at some point because I'd love to see what sort of difference that makes to crowds.
yeah, brilliant.
Interesting. Yeah. So I'm a long-suffering Cleveland Browns supporter, and I tend to follow Cleveland-based teams in American sports. What's the chances of a Cleveland-based rugby side, Gray?
Oh, good question. So Ohio is a real hotbed when
Mm.
it comes to rugby. I think it's in like the top five of the states that actually play, even though it's a relatively small state. So we did previously have a team. I can't remember what it was now. It was in.
In
It'll come to me.
the precursor to MLR, there was the Ohio Aviators, wasn't there, who played out of Cleveland?
Yes, they did. So
Yes.
and that
Yeah.
stadium was full as well. It was one of the best
Mm.
supported stadiums that that particular competition had. So yes, I would love to see a team in Ohio, and we are talking to a couple of different people. I mean, that's one of the most exciting bits actually is that we've had so much outreach
Yeah.
recently. So I was in one of the states further north last week, and when I get back, there's a couple of southern ones as well. So yeah, I'm really there's a lot of good things happening, and a lot of people can see. I think right now that Major League Rugby is probably undervalued, and if they get in right now, especially with the 2031 World Cup on the horizon, there's a lot of potential to grow and to get in at the right time now and to get in at the right price now. So yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. Get a Ohio team. I will be the number one fan. I will follow Major League Rugby. I just want a team in Ohio, Cleveland, and that'll be my side. Because at the moment, I look at the teams, I don't know who to follow. I need to get into American rugby a lot more, but I just haven't got a team to follow.
Yeah,
You'll have
I'm
to do the
having.
podcast for that one then, Jamie, as well, if we get a Cleveland team.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Right.
I'm having
So,
to find a new team. It's since Nola ended. I
oh
think
yeah, you got a problem, haven't you, for that
yeah.
now?
Well, my family's Midwestern, so I'm kind of looking at Chicago, but I'm not sure how I feel about that.
I mean, the guys at Chicago are fantastic. So yeah, I mean, they run out of a great stadium in SeatGeek
Mm.
Stadium, but it is certainly interesting weather there for early part of the season for sure. So
Yes.
Yeah. Mm. So the one thing we always hear from people, how many times have we heard this, right? Rugby in America is a sleeping giant. We've heard it so many times. So do you really believe that's the case, Graham? That rugby in America is a sleeping giant? And why do you think rugby hasn't quite broken through in America yet? Or is that being slightly unfair?
no, I don't think that's being unfair. I think that's incumbent on us to make it breakthrough, and that's by having fantastic production. Firstly, so when people tune in we're on ESPN, ESPN Plus, and ESPN2. So when people find us on the carousel or on linear windows, they really enjoy the product that's being put in front of them and can understand it again as well. But certainly the in-stadium experience is something that we really need to push on. And there's going to be a lot more international games coming to the US over the next couple of years, and we
Mm.
need to maximize the exposure that those give us. But no, I think it is right that it's not so much a sleeping giant because it never was huge. But what we have to do is actually generate that in the first place and get it to a place where um, we're never going to be in the top 3 or 4 sports in the US, but if you can come in anywhere from 5 to 8, there's a huge amount of spectators. We're talking tens of millions of people that can then tune in and watch that. And yeah, you don't have to have that big a percentage of the population watching in the US to make a huge amount of difference. So
Yeah, fair enough.
and
Good stuff.
I also think it's a sport that when the American public really sees it, it really works on so many levels for them as well. I mean, if you've got somebody who likes ice hockey and likes American football, the sort of combination, but without the pads, yeah, we just need to get it in front of more people, get more eyeballs,
Yeah.
as we say.
I think that's a struggle for you though, Graeme, is how do you get that coverage out to people, like, because obviously you've got NFL, ice hockey, so many different sports. Like, how do you get rugby in the back pages? How do you get people talking about it in America when there's so much competition in other sports? It must be a challenge.
Oh yeah, it definitely
Coverage.
is a challenge. But we play in the spring when a lot of the major sports aren't playing. So it does give us an opportunity. I mean, you have March Madness with the basketball. You have baseball just starting, but we actually finish just before the international window for July. So we've got a nice sort of 3 month window that we sit in there, and it is a relatively quiet period for American sports. So, we want to be that sport that makes the difference and reaches out in that period because there's so many American sports fans love so many different sports, and we just need to make sure that rugby becomes one of them.
Fair point. Right, and finally, before you leave us, now we all know you're a Dragon supporter. I want to know, what are your favourite memories of the club, in terms of any particular matches, any favourite players that you enjoyed watching as a Dragon supporter? What has given you joy over the years? I appreciate in terms of assault it hasn't been that much joyful, but you know what I mean. Is there any moments that, any memories of Rodney Parade that you remember fondly?
I think my favourite moment actually wasn't actually at Rodney Parade. It was going over to Clermont with my son for his 17th birthday and going to the stadium there. And we were actually somehow, and this was completely by chance, staying in the same hotel as the players. So just having that interaction to start off with. But did any of you gents go to the game in Clermont a few years back?
No,
I've
I
not been.
wish.
It's definitely on the bucket list, though.
Yeah, I'd love to
It
go.
was a fantastic stadium with a band
The
playing.
band, yeah.
Yeah, and we actually met up with some of the football supporters from Claremont Foot the night before as well, and they were fantastic hosts. So no, that experience, both with the players but also with the fans, I think is the one that probably stands out the most for me. And that's before I got involved in any serious way at all. So that was just purely a fan experience, and that was probably my favorite.
Awesome. Chaps, any further questions you'd like to ask Graeme before he leaves us?
Not for me. It's got a really interesting insight, though. But thank you, Graeme.
No problem
Gav?
at all.
No.
Excellent. Well, Graeme, it's
You
been a
got off
pleasure.
lightly, I reckon.
Yeah, he absolutely did. No, it's been a pleasure talking to you. My New Year's resolution will be to make more time to watch American rugby. I'm going to try and get into it, but do get a Cleveland team sorted because that'll be my team. And yeah, we at Dragon's Lair Towers wish you and the family a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you very much. And look, Merry Christmas to all the Dragons fans. Let's hope Boxing Day is even better. And look forward to seeing you all in the near future.
Brilliant. Cheers,
Thank you,
Graeme.
Graeme.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers,
Thank
Graeme.
you.
Bye-bye.
Ta-ra now. Bye. There you go, Graeme Bradbury. Interesting chap. Like I said, he did play a key role in getting Dragons into private ownership. He's done a lot of good work for the club. It's nice to hear that he's still in touch, with a lot of people at the Dragons. So yeah, good. Really
Yeah,
good
good
talking
stuff.
to him. Absolutely. So just a reminder, I'm really struggling tonight. I'm sorry. Just a reminder, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and leave us a review. 5 stars will get you a shout out. Now, we've had one new review. This is from Expat Welshman. Now, when I read this, I was convinced Gavin wrote this review. And I don't mind. If you want to write a review for the pod, that's absolutely fine. But this is what he says. Love this pod. Good start. Funny, opinionated, informed. A bit too sweary, he says. But it's always a great listen.
Gareth.
I was
From
drunk.
listen to this, from an Ebu boy and Cardiff supporter living in Sussex. So I took the Cardiff supporter as your boy, Gav. Sussex, you live in Sussex. Ebu boy, are you sure this is not you?
I'm 100% sure. Sussex is a big county.
So you are absolutely denying this is not you.
It is not me.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, a bit too sweary. I don't want to point fingers, but Gareth, your language is terrible, mate. I've been listening to the pods back recently, and your language, you are
Yeah, I do
swearing
apologise.
like a sailor lately, mate.
Well, I was
not good enough.
drunk on the last one, so we shouldn't record on a match day, I think.
I'm bad for it, mine as well. It's not just you, but yeah, just tone it down, Gareth. That's all
Yeah,
I'm
fair
saying.
play. Sorry, listeners.
I
Yeah,
mean, we're
don't-
being listened to on the school run as well. Somebody actually said, I've listened to the school run, and
No.
you're effing and jeffing. I'm thinking, if it's kids, they can't listen to this.
I know a few people, and it was lovely to bump into lots of people yesterday out and about. A few people give me a couple of quotes that were,
I know the
Maybe.
one that got quoted quite a lot.
yeah, that maybe I had a little bit of regret with afterwards.
So the
about-
one about you ripping off your manhood and throwing it at the telly if Dragons beat Cardiff, is that the one?
Yeah, that got mentioned a few times, and
It did.
comments about Chum 5 that were a bit sweary as well. But yeah, moving on. I don't want to relive all that.
Right. Shall we talk about what the hell happened on Saturday night?
Oh, go on! Unbelievable.
I'm still in shock, boys. I'm still in shock. And some people are calling this a Christmas miracle, by the way.
It was just the point after we scored the third try. I just turned to Gareth and went, "What the hell is going on?" I didn't say hell.
Yeah. There was,
I was
a
gonna
lot of
say-
that on the terrace, wasn't there? A lot of people going, what's happening? What is actually happening?
I recorded a video, a sweary video, saying what the F is happening. I couldn't believe it, though. I could not believe what I was seeing. So even the scoreline is mad. It was Dragons 48,
Come on,
Connacht
yes.
28. I'll say it again. Dragons scored 48 points.
Oh,
But
go on.
the 28 flatters Connacht as
Oh,
well.
massively.
Yeah,
That scoreline
yeah.
hugely flatters them. We
Yeah.
battered them, boys. We absolutely I try to be balanced on this pod. But not tonight. We flipping
Wow.
murdered them. It was brilliant. Dragons scored 6 tries to Connacht's 4. Yeah, like you said, Gav. Scoreline flattered them. We didn't
Spot
just win, we absolutely battered them. So it was the first time Dragons have won back-to-back games since when? Any of you know?
2022.
Correct, October 2022. It was Dragons' first URC win since September 2024, which was against the Ospreys, of course, last season. What a performance. And I think this sums it up well. So I know you've watched the game back, Gareth. Gavin, have you watched the game back?
I did. I watched on the train back home today.
So Tom Shanklin was on co-coms. And to be fair, he was very good. I thought Tom Shanklin was very good on comms because sometimes we have really poor commentators or they could be a bit snarky and
Yeah, I
disparaging.
enjoyed it, actually.
But
Yeah.
Tom Shanklin, I got to say, was very fair and balanced. He said a lot of good stuff. So he was asked to name his player of the match. And the lead commentator, I think it's Rhys Williams, sounded like him. And he said, I'm guessing it's a Dragons player, like that, jokey. And Tom Shanklin said, it's all 23 of them.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
I thought
love
that was a really good thing to say because he's right. This was a team effort. This was a team effort. Who wants to go first on this?
Go on, Gav. Take the lead.
Last week, when we beat Leon, there were lots of things that we needed to work on, and we recognised that it wasn't a great performance, but it was a win. Literally, if you ask me what needs to be sharper this week, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Because, we did take our foot off the gas a bit at the end. But defensively, we were so strong, and there were so many knock-ons, and I think that's why I haven't got a voice now, because of the He Knocked It On song. So there were a lot of knock-ons, but there were knock-ons because we were just forcing them into errors. It was just so aggressive.
Yeah.
And we weren't relying on one player. There were situations in the game where we weren't. Think about all the times Wayne has had to do all the running for us.
Yeah.
But Keddy, Levi Douglas, Woodman, Ollie Burrows till he went off. Everyone is just, I want the ball. I'm going to run it at them.
Really had the bit between our teeth to me, especially up front.
Oh yeah, and the backs had space, but they had space because the forwards were just absolutely dominating the collision. The set piece was fine as well. The scrum was fine. Line-up was good. It it was well. It just looked great as well. From where we were stood. Every time we got the ball, we thought, "Oh, something's on here." And if you think about it, so we scored 6 tries. We should have definitely scored 7 till Jared fell over.
And the forward pass, we had the one
Yeah,
disallowed, didn't we?
yeah,
Very, very good.
Yeah. Oh, is that it, Gavin, or?
yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. I thought you was going to go into a little bit more detail. Okay, that's absolutely fine.
Well,
Yeah, we're
well,
still shocked.
I was going to talk. Like, I'm happy to talk about players, in terms of detail there, because what I really thought for me was the decision making, and how many times have we said decision making's an issue?
Yes.
The
Yep.
decision making was excellent, but it wasn't coming from De Beer, who I didn't think was making always the right decisions. But Shea Hope and Angus really they pulled every string.
Yeah.
And Angus is kicking really accurate, right kicks at the right time. And then the back row, particularly Teddy, it was a way, like performance, wasn't it? Because every time he got the ball, he was just bursting through tackles.
Very
Yeah.
aggressive, wasn't
And Iron needs some credit as well.
He was good. Very
Because
good. Yeah.
he's up against Bundy Aki.
he?
Who was very average, actually.
Yeah,
I didn't think he was doing that much.
Aki did very little because Iron was constantly up in his face.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Gareth, come on then. Well, no, actually, before we go on to you, Gav, did you enjoy your stay in Newport, Gavin?
I did. To be fair, I worked out actually being conscious in the hotel. I would probably only spend about 25 minutes conscious in the hotel because arrived, went out, watched the game, went back, slept, had breakfast this morning, then left. But yeah, no, it was great. And it was lovely. So many people just coming up, introducing themselves to me.
Yeah.
It was great, and we had a few beers
We did.
across the day. And no, it was lovely, and it was a great atmosphere.
It was.
Harris was walking.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it really was. It was just a great time.
Yeah.
And I wasn't the only one who looked a bit sheepish this morning as well when I was walking through Newport. I think quite a few people had a heavy night.
Yeah, absolutely. Come on then, Gav. This is your moment.
Love it.
Come on. Tell us
We were
all
awesome,
about it.
weren't we? I mean, I
Yeah.
got in last night, watched the tries, woke up this morning, watched the tries, watched the full game this afternoon, and then watched the tries again because it was that good. And I love being able to just rewatch a Dragons game in full, knowing how it ends as well. When we were there, and it was brilliant on the terrace one day, it was rocking and people were shocked at what they were witnessing. I left, and obviously we've had beers, and I sort of thought, wow, we just ripped them apart. But watching the game back, the forwards were just unbelievable, absolutely dominated. And yeah, a lot of the decision making was good. After Shea Hope's try, we just had a really big, strong defensive set. And then we just seemed to grow confidence off the back of that. The third try really impressed me that it was Ross's try, wasn't it? The third one started off with Dyer, went down the wing, and we got really close to the line, and we sort of pick and go and that sort of thing. But then we went for it. We actually pulled the trigger and went wide. So it was a lovely pullback from an Iron Owen. Tina's got really good width on the ball, and Angus has got the quality to sort of give that long pass again to Rosser to go over. And it happened again in the second half with Rio's try. We had a lovely first phase move off a good scrum. Great line from Ryan Woodman to get us close. We get close to the line, and again, we start to go through the forwards, but we pulled the trigger again to go out the back. Rob Hunt pulled the ball back, thought he had a great game. And we get Rio on the outside. And I just thought the bravery from us to when we're getting close to the line to actually go, no, let's use our backs because we have got those great players. I thought was brilliant. It was really brave from us to do it. And really smart as well. Second half, we start the game with a lead, and the forwards again, they dominate to get us penalties, and we kick 2 pens. And suddenly we've pulled the game away from Connacht. where we've had games where we've been leading at halftime and instantly let teams in, but we really put our foot down on their throat. I was really, really impressed. And you could name everyone. Sorry, Gav, what say?
Yeah, I'm just going to say that what really stuck out for me, because I think of all the games I've talked about on here where we've been winning and we've always had a terrible last 5 minutes of the first half, terrible first 5 minutes of the second half.
Yeah.
And we absolutely controlled the last 5 minutes of the first half and then absolutely controlled the first, and it was like night and day difference. It was like watching a different team.
Yeah. It's fantastic. And, the scrum was good. The props did well. Ollie Burrows, I think, has really grown into that jersey the last few weeks. He's looking really aggressive. Yeah.
You were very skeptical about Ollie, and I told you there's a
Well,
player there. He's going to be really good if
he certainly showed he had a lot of promise, but I think he's showing, that he is quality and he's looked really good. I think Carter and Levi is a lovely second row partnership. Carter, watching it back, the amount of work Carter does is unbelievable. And then General Levi just goes around absolutely whacking people, doesn't he?
Did you see that hit?
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
It was just so good. I don't know, because you did watch the game back. Tom Shankland makes a sex noise. So he smashes him and he goes, oh, it was glorious.
Yeah, he does.
He's like, oh, it was so good.
And we are officially adopting General Levi as his name. And boys on the terrace, you have to call him General Levi.
Yeah, the lads on the terrace were well into it, weren't they? They were a few beers deep as well, so some sore heads there.
I think everybody was.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely General Levi. He's just whacking people, and it is a good balance with Carter, isn't it?
Because he can't do it every phase, can he? He needs a little...
Yes, I really like player cam in him, yeah. Because he does. He whacks someone and sort of has a little wander around. He looks like he's badly injured, and then 5 minutes later, he's just whacked someone again. Like it's brilliant. And you mentioned Keddy, Gav, absolute phenomenal performance. We know Keddy's got that in his locker. Woodman, just again, consistently good for us. I mean, I find it frustrating that Woodman had some praise after last week's win in other media outlets. And you think, well, if Angus doesn't kick that kick at the end and we don't win, Woodman had the exact same impact coming on, but he wouldn't have got the praise because we don't get the result. And it is overlooked when we don't win games that players are playing well. And I think, I've been saying all season, we've got good players who are given a lot from that jersey. Some things just haven't gone right, but it did go right. And I could name every single player. I thought Enisi offered a lot at 13. The way he just sort of holds the ball in one hand, can get beautiful offloads away, can ride a tackle because he's strong. And Rio Dyer,
we were chanting on the terrace.
It took me about 4 hours to watch the game back today because I kept rewinding every time we touched the ball because I just loved watching it. It's just it's beautiful to watch him when he's in that form. Well, do you know what? It's not even when he's in that form because he's got that in his locker all the time. We just don't get him the ball. And it frustrates the life out of me that we haven't utilized him enough because he is unbelievable. And you give him half a chance, he terrorized Connacht. Yeah. He was fantastic. And massive Shea Hope fan. He's got a bit of swagger about him, I think. Just our confidence just grew through the game. And you hope last week's win did give us that shot in the arm. Go, yes, we are a good team. And you think at home now, 2 draws, 2 losses, 2 wins. I'm predicting we get another win New Year's Day. We're looking like quite a good home team now, and we are slowly turning it back into Fortress Rodney Parade. Love it.
What was it? 3 out of 4 you predicted, didn't you?
I did, yeah. So
you're looking on course for that.
I've got 2 so far, 2 games to go, and yeah. So I'll take it 2 out of 4. See, some of us kept the faith.
I knew he'd be going on about this now. Nobody saw that coming on Saturday night.
No.
Literally nobody.
I've been saying there's a team there and we've got great players. We just need to get the most out of them. But I didn't see that come in. And as well, I don't have it written down. But Connacht coming into this game, there's a graphic on Premier Sports before the game. And they're first in the league for dominant carries. I think they're like 3rd for possession in the league and meters gained post-contact. That's a good Connacht side. They're a good team. They had good players. And listening to what the commentary said before the game, you know, Connacht were coming here to win, and they had a good team out, and they were a good side. And we just had a wall in defence. We were really strong, and the effort was brilliant. I thought the forwards just absolutely dominated them, and it was just brilliant to see. That's a proper Gwent sort of looking forward pack for me, and it freed up the backs to do their thing. Loved it. Yeah. Great win. Oh, I'm going to watch it again when we're done.
You can't help yourself now. Oh dear. So what have I got written down in my notes though? Rio Dyer, sensational. Made 122 meters, 3 line breaks, 8 defenders beaten.
Oof.
It's mad what happens when you shape an attack around your best players getting the ball, isn't it? And it's not rocket science, boys. It's really not rocket science. You don't have to be a rugby coach to know that you need to get your best players on the ball. And when Rio gets the ball, he does great things. And I was speaking to his mum and sister on the terrace. Oh, I was so happy for him. I really was. I was delighted because I do think he's had a bit of unfair stick at times. But that was classic Rio, wasn't it? On Saturday night. Jinking, the way he was just beating people for pace. It was like the Rio Dyer we all know and love. And it was great to see. And it did feel like we had an attack that was getting him into the play, getting him in on the action a lot more. So I don't know if O'Brien has tweaked things. Maybe he hasn't, I don't know. But it felt different. That attack felt different. And it was really good to see Rio Dyer doing what he does best when he gets the ball.
We have been critical of the attack. And I think we have to, say it worked, didn't it, yesterday? And I think Anisi just gave us something different at outside centre. He was always looking to bring other players in. It was the attack worked really well, but we have to do that again. Now we have to do that against Cardiff, and we have to do it against Scarlets. And
yeah, no, it's a fair point. What else have we got? Shea gives us hope. See what I've done there?
That's a cheesy one. That is.
I could be a headline writer for Wales Online, coming out with shit like this, couldn't I? Shea gives us hope. So, on a serious point now, if I'm Rodri Williams, I'm looking over my shoulder because as things stand, Shea Hope is my starting scrum half. Not just for the festive derbies, but actually beyond that, if he carries on playing like this. And I've mentioned a couple of times how pleased I've been with his development. He was really, really good, boys, wasn't he, Shea Hope?
He was. He was fantastic. I thought he was great against Leon.
There was a discernible difference when Rodri came on as well.
It was. And a lot of people in the comment section, they have said that they felt the tempo and the pace dropped when Rodri came on. Now, I love Rodri Williams to bits. He's been one of my favourite Dragons players. But I do think he's been a little bit off this season. He's got competition for his shirt, and I think he needs it. I think he really needs it. And Shea Hope is just an exciting young talent. He's doing really, really well. I was impressed yet again with Shea Hope. Levi Douglas, he's the second row enforcer we've all been crying out for, isn't he? And I absolutely love him. Christ, he's big. Oh, even when you see him, in the flesh up front, bloody hell, he is a big old unit. He's Welsh qualified, by the way. We talk about Wales lacking physicality. Wouldn't do bad with someone like Levi Douglas coming off the bench. He's huge.
He is huge.
He is massive, isn't he? Was he about 6'6"? 120 kilos, probably.
I don't know what his weight and measurement is, but I know he's a big lad. Can you imagine getting hit by him, though?
6'5", 125 kilos.
Yeah.
And aggressive, though, with it. He wants to hurt you, doesn't he, when he's tackling you?
Yeah.
But it's momentum shifters, isn't it? It makes a huge difference in a defensive set.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think we've had a big enforcer second row like that since Will Rowlands.
No.
I think Will Rowlands does that. And I love Ben Carter. He's brilliant at what he does. He is unfairly, overlooked by supporters of other teams. But that balance you said, Gav, in the second row, is working. Douglas and Carter, that's a really... Because Carter, you feel just does all the donkey work. He does... the line out calling everything, but Douglas is just smashing people and he just gets you over the game line, and that's what we want.
He's high, like Ben Carter's high energy.
Yeah.
The general isn't, but he does the way he carries. We've said it loads of times. You need a gnarly old second row who's just going to hit rucks like he's trying to kill people, and run through tackles like he's trying to kill people. It's
Yeah.
he's just there's an aggression to him, which is what I also like about Ollie Burrows as well. Ollie Burrows carries with real intent.
Yeah, he's been really good. But I always rated Ollie Bowes, Gav didn't, but I
No,
did. I want to give credit to the coaches. You touched on earlier, Gav. I think we need to because they deserve it. Now, we've given them a fair bit of stick on this pod, rightly so, as far as I'm concerned.
yeah.
But to be fair, they got their selections and their tactics spot on for this game. So hats off to TT and Matt O'Brien.
Yeah.
I'm still a little bit, don't get me wrong, I'm still a little bit skeptical about the coaching team. But this is not the time or place now to be doing that.
No,
we need to praise them. They got it right. There was a lot of debate. To be fair, TT got the old Tom Bowler out, didn't he? And we was mixing it up again. 8 changes here, 9 changes there, but it worked. It worked an absolute treat. And I think there's some selection headaches now for the festive derbies, which we'll talk about in a bit. So yeah, hats off to the coaches.
Yeah, I agree. I was
deserve
quite
that.
pleased with that selection as well. I put online before the game, this player's been picked on merit, like Shea Hope getting that start after his great impact against Leon. So yeah, hats off, they did nail it. And Nisi, we've all called for it at 13, and he did have an impact.
Yeah, that's literally my next point I was going to make. So
sorry,
I think, no, it's fine. No, you've read my notes. I think we've cracked the 13 issue now. Until Fatulipaia comes back from injury, then Finney Anisi has to start at 13. He simply has to. We have been saying this for how long on this pod?
Oh God, at least the last 5-6 weeks.
We have been saying this for weeks. For weeks we were saying, got to start Anisi at 13 because he'll get his hands on the ball a lot more. He's good defensively. Let's see what he could do at 13. And I think he went pretty well, boys, didn't he?
There was one point in the game, and he's caught the ball one-handed, and then shifted it to his other hand and offloaded it one hand, and it was like a magician. It was done with such kind of fluidity.
Yeah.
Not an easy skill.
Brilliant. And his offload then for Thomas Young's disallowed try was really nice, wasn't it, as well?
Yeah.
It was, yeah. Big shift from the youngsters. Shea Hope, you mentioned earlier. Ryan Woodman, very, very good. Harry Bedell, no one's mentioned him. He was
brilliant.
top tackler, 18 tackles.
Yeah,
no one made more tackles
he?
than Harry Bedell. Yeah, he was outstanding. But he
really
hasn't been
good at the
talked about.
breakdown.
Yeah, another young Welsh talent. There is young Welsh talent in this squad. People can say whatever they like about the Dragons, and yes, a lot of the criticism is justified. We get that. But what people can't deny is there is young Welsh talent in that squad. And that's what's pleased me at the moment, is that they are developing well. So, really pleased. Big defensive effort as well. Harry Keddy put in 17 tackles. Ben Carter did as well. Tinas De Beer put in 16 tackles.
He's aggressive, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. Gavin, because I know you was always skeptical about De Beer, right? But now you've actually seen him live. What do you make of him?
I'm still not I'm still not super convinced by him. I was having this conversation with your dad last night, Gareth, and I was just saying I don't think he's the 10 we need necessarily. I think he's a good player, but he was the one with the decision making, wasn't sharp. I do like how aggressive he is, though, because that's not like a 10. He's always looking for a fight, right? He's he's a hard lad. But yeah, I'm still not 100% convinced there. But I thought he played well. Because he did set up Jared for the try, and he was always looking for those wide passes. But yeah, I'm still not 100% convinced by him.
I do like him. You can see why he's a bit of a fan favourite. He was a fan favourite at Cardiff, wasn't he? They loved him there, and people do like him. Yeah, I think with Angus taking the kicks, though. By the way, how good was Angus's place kicking? And I don't know if you noticed this. Didn't he look confident?
He did.
Because there are some times, not just Angus, but when our players step up to take kicks, sometimes they don't look confident. I find the body language or something seems off. Every time Angus stepped up, I didn't feel like he was going to miss. He just looked
Well,
confident.
Angus was responsible for my favourite moment of the entire game yesterday. And it wasn't anything to do with that happened on the field. When we know we've won and all the subs are out and they've got their subs coat on and the terrorists are just shouting dragons, dragons. And he looked at the crowd and there was just this huge smile on his face. I thought, now you deserve that.
He gave a fist
Gav.
pump as well to the terrorist.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about, isn't it, Gav?
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. Love that.
It was good. I love
Maybe
that
we'll be
fist pump he
crying
did.
again now.
Yeah, when I was just before he did the fist pump, there was just this
Yeah.
huge smile and then he did that. I was like,
It shows he cares. It shows he cares. I love him. He's a good player. Set piece was good for the most part, wasn't it? Not bad. Not bad at all. Jordan Morris, 2 games, 2 wins, 100% win record. Get him in the squad for Cardiff. Get him in that squad against Cardiff.
But no, like the size of some of our front rowers, you've got Jordan Morris, who is
he's a big boy, isn't he?
a unit, and then the new South African guy, Big D.
Yes.
His calves were about the size of my entire body.
So that's my next point as well. George Roberts, the new hooker from Doncaster, did all right, didn't he?
Yeah,
very good. He came on into a big line out, found the tail straight away. I think we won a pen off the back of that as well. He looked really good.
Yeah, his
and
line
we've
of
had
throwing
good
was
reports. We've had good reports about him from people saying that he was really, really good in the championship. He'll do a job for us. So, yeah, and the new site there, Safa tight there, this you just mentioned, Gav, Diamani, he was good. Again, another unit. Like, we've got some big boys in the team now. Before, we never used to have these big units, and now we got big units across the park, and it's great. Yeah, those are my notes and thoughts from the game. But look, this was an excellent performance, right? With very few Dragonsy moments, let's be honest. It didn't feel real, did it? I felt like, and I'm not saying this to be funny, I felt like I was watching a different team. I didn't feel like I was watching the Dragons. And we played sensible rugby, that's the thing. We took the points on offer when we needed to. We made good decisions. We didn't panic. We didn't get carried away and start kicking to the corner and doing stupid shit. We actually played really good, sensible rugby. I quite like Ben Carter's comments as well in his post-match interview. Gareth, you saw this as well, didn't you? He said, it's been a long time coming. We might not have had a win for a very long time, but there have been good performances, but people don't really notice those. Is that a dig at the Scrum 5 punditry team, I wonder, or just in the media in general? I don't know, but it did feel a bit pointed.
I think it's wider than just Scrum 5.
Yeah.
Because there are
hopefully not us.
No, we get behind the team. We've always offered context. You know that, even when we've been critical. Yeah, we are.
No, I'm only messing. No, you're right. I think I'm glad that he's made that comment as well, because he's completely right. It goes back to us saying about like Woodman wouldn't have had that praise if we didn't beat Leon. It just does change people's perception. People don't care when they see that we've lost. They don't care how we've played. They just think it's another Dragons loss. And the only way we're going to change perception, we've said it time and time again, is to win. And we've won 2 on the bounce now, and our players will be recognised for the quality that they've been showing through a lot of tight games where maybe we haven't got it over the line, but we have played well.
Yeah, absolutely. Bad language alert now. I was a big fan of Fidenisi saying fuck in this interview.
That was pretty funny. Yeah.
Very, very funny. Right, Gareth, Loaf has been in touch. So for those who don't know, Loaf is Gav's brother. And he says this, I have a question. He says, I missed the last 2 games and we have won. I missed the Ospreys win last season. I am coming to the Scarlets game on New Year's Day. Should I stay away? The answer is yes, you absolutely should. Yes. And don't come back to Rodney Parade ever again.
So if you can pick me up and just drop me off and then go home.
Loaf, with respect, don't come to the game. Maybe you should stay at home now and watch all the games on TV.
Yeah. It's a shame.
I'm not being funny, mate, but
for those, we all know where we are on the terrace by the stand up for the Men of Gwent sign. Loaf does generate a lot of noise, and he is quite good at getting the crowd going. But thinking about it,
maybe turns up, we don't win.
Yeah, maybe he's putting the players off because he's so loud. I don't know.
And there was lots of talk, people jokingly saying, "Oh, Jamie, you have to come on the terrace every time," and people tell me I
I
had to move
know.
to Newport. Uh, but the reason we won is because the players just did what they needed to do. They just executed stuff well, and the discipline was excellent, and that's why we won.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm not taking credit, but me being on the terrace definitely gave the players a lift, I thought. And you could
You were like a bottle of pop. I don't know how they put up with you on the Bisley.
I have to behave myself over on the business. It's full of old people and families. Yeah. No, I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. Would I want to do it every week, be on the terrace? Probably not. But if we play sexy rugby like that, hello, I might have to switch my season ticket over, And it was nice to meet the listeners, wasn't there? So many people coming up to us. I'm sorry, I can't remember all your names. I was drunk. I'd had a few. Met West Country Dragon on X, lovely bloke. Becca Jones as well, who was messaging me or pestering me to come over to the terrace. I did. See, I told you I would. Who, by the way, travels from the Wirral in Merseyside to come to games. Can you believe that?
Fair play.
Good on it. Brilliant.
Legend. Well done.
Absolutely. Yeah, but it was great to meet people. Like I said, I can't remember all your names. It was nice. It was really nice. Something has definitely changed though in the Dragons, isn't it? Something has changed. Something has clicked. I don't know what it is, but I do wonder if strong words would have been said behind closed doors, especially after our embarrassing Perpignan performance. And with the criticism, the ex-pros on Scrum 5 sticking the boot in. I wonder if something has happened behind closed doors because Shane Lewis-Hughes' comments were quite interesting after the game.
Yeah, I like that.
He said, in the end, we just had to look ourselves in the mirror and ask, are we doing everything we can be to be the best team we possibly can and for the fans to come out every single week, no matter what? First of all, fair play, excellent honesty. But also,
really
it does sound like when he said we had to look ourselves in the mirror, what do you think? Do you think something's gone on behind the scenes? Do you think they've had a kick up the arse? It just felt like these past two games, something has changed. But what has changed? I wonder if it's tactically, coaching change, maybe, and doing things different and how they're in training. I don't know. What do you think?
Do you know, I don't think we were, it's going to sound daft now. I don't think we were like drastically different. We were just that little bit smarter and a little bit braver as well.
There were two key differences for me. The execution was much sharper and the discipline was much better.
Discipline was good. Yeah. But, I've maintained all season that we've shown signs. We've had draws that should have been wins. We pushed Leinster really close. We've got really good players and we've been close. And all right, yeah, I didn't see that coming. But it has been, we've been close to getting some good performances over the line. So, yeah, but we did. I agree with Gav. The execution was a lot better. But to me, I think bravery and we backed ourselves. And I think that was the difference. We didn't back ourselves against the Sharks, take the shot.
Yeah.
I think we really backed ourselves yesterday.
But we look confident now as well. And again, where does that come from? Is it literally just the fact that, beating Leon has suddenly given a surge of confidence, do you think?
It looked a little bit like the confidence grew within the game as well.
It did.
It was like, because watching it back, we went 7 down as well.
After 8 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, which is really good as well that, we went behind and we're strong enough to come back like we did against Leon, which shows we've got a lot of character in that team. But yeah, I thought the confidence throughout the game grew to, in the end, you just thought, give Rio the ball and he will do something. Because that one break he makes for Shea Hope's try, Shanklin shouting, kick it behind. And then Rio gets the ball. And it's like, mate, you don't need to kick it. He's going to do his man. And he is flying down the wing. That moment, because the terrace is absolutely roaring him down the wing.
It was good, wasn't it? It was really good. And he's so quick as well. When you see him live, he is so quick. People don't realize how quick he is.
Unbelievable, isn't he?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
No, I'm so pleased for him and his family. And really, really pleased. I tell you what I did. What did strike me actually, watching the game back, the scenes afterwards. I didn't pay attention at the time because I was too busy talking to my fans. But
Fucking hell.
all these people coming up to me, it's like a celebrity, man. Uh,
You also described yourself as the Paul McCartney of the pod at one point as well.
well, I think I am. I'm not being funny, but I think I am. So we had this conversation as well. I do remember this. We talked about being a boy band, didn't we?
Yes.
When we was at
Well,
the pub. So if we were a boy band, God forbid, but if we were, I would be the songwriter. Gavin would be the musician, inverted commas, and Gareth would be the eye candy.
dear me, that's a low bar, isn't it?
You're the good-looking one, but you can't sing.
Jesus Christ. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, well, I think you described yourself as Paul McCartney, but Gavin said you were more Kylie Minogue, as I recall.
Yes.
Oh dear. Oh, we had a laugh, didn't we? But
Dear
yeah,
me.
the
It was like
scene.
taking a child to the terrace. You were bouncing around.
I regularly take my boy to rugby, and he gets less excited than you were.
Yeah, Jamie went from, I normally get a cup of tea and a Kit Kat when I'm in the Bisley.
I do. That's my half-time treat. Yeah.
To sometimes we didn't even know where you were because you were bouncing around so much with
Yeah, and
so
he
much
went to get
excitement.
himself a beer as well without getting us one.
No, because you
what
left.
a Gav.
No, no,
you left me. I couldn't find you. And I looked everywhere and I thought, I'm not walking around a busy terrace carrying 3 beers, but I don't know where you are. Ain't happening, mate. So yeah, I did get myself a drink. I will buy you a pint next time I see you, Gareth, and you, Gavin, when you come down next. But don't put that one on me because you buggered off and I couldn't find you. So don't put that one on me.
Dear me. I tell you what, though, you can see why I love being on that terrace because we got a
Oh, I
great
do.
bunch around
Yeah.
us, loads of really good people. You know, we've all gone through some misery together and felt the pain, and then it was just pure disbelief. It was it's fantastic. Thank you,
enjoyed it.
Dragons. We absolutely loved that. That will get people back in the stadium.
I described the atmosphere as heady. I sent a message to Rihanna and Garth Jones, who's been on the pod, and she said it must be great. I said there's a heady atmosphere here. People are just really, really happy.
Okay, so imagine this. Imagine if Dragons put in performances like that on a weekly basis, because it was just over 4,000 people there,
Yeah.
right? Now, it sounded like more. It sounded like the roar and the noise was unbelievable, even with 4,000 there. It was unbelievably loud. Now, imagine if Dragons are a good team, they're putting in performances like that on a weekly basis, that attendance increases.
Yeah.
I keep saying there's no reason why they can't get over 6K there if they carry on playing like this. Very easy.
We used to be really jammed in on the terrace. You couldn't move, but now there is a lot of space.
There's time for Jamie to go, space for Jamie to go around glad handing.
I can't help it being a popular one here. You know, people want to talk to me. I can't help that. I thought the terrace was quite busy, mate. It was a bit sparse near the end, but in the middle, it was.
When I say it used to be, I'm
ages.
saying a good few years ago. Like, I mean, it was.
Oh,
it was
yeah,
busy.
yeah.
Like we've split up. Build it and they'll come. Like if we put in performances like that, people will want to come back and watch that because that was great.
Oh, they got their money's worth. Anyone paying to watch that, they definitely
fantastic.
got their money's worth. What I was going to say, I got sidetracked a little bit then. The scenes after the game, the players hugging each other, praying on the floor, the circle, the group chat, everyone sort of hugging each other,
Smiling.
high fives. I think this is a group of players that is actually really on side with Tia. I think they really want to play for him, don't they? That's the impression that I got. They seem a very close-knit group.
Yeah.
And you could just feel it, can't you? You know?
And yeah, well, we've never questioned effort all season, have we? Which that does show there is buy-in there. Yeah, it's lovely to see those scenes at the end, isn't it? And the crowd chant to them and the players sort of giving the fist bumps to the terrace. That's what it's all about. Love it.
And that's what will connect the fans to the players. There's that connection. If they buy into it and they feel that connection, it makes it easier, doesn't it, to really get behind these boys because they're local boys and we want them to do so well. And it does annoy me when we put in these awful Dragon Seed performances. The Bianchi was horrible and they hated doing that pod that day.
Yeah.
I don't want to record pods like that. I want to record happy pods like this. And even if we lose, but we play well, that's fine, you know? But I'm hoping we could turn a corner. I didn't think we were going to go back to back. I got to be honest. I did not see that coming, especially in the manner. Like I said, it's not just the fact we won, We absolutely smoked them. A Connacht team, by the way, lots of Irish internationals, British and Irish Lion, Bundy Aki. That was a strong team. This wasn't like a third string Connacht team. That was a very strong Connacht side. And we did a great job. We did a really good job.
Yeah.
Delighted. Anything else you want to say about the game before we move on?
No.
No, just well done, boys.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
Well done.
Awesome. Gavin, do you have a Gwent Rugby roundup for us?
I do indeed.
You actually found time to do one. Fair enough.
Yes. Yeah, I managed to fit her in.
Go on,
SRC, Ebervale continued their fairly dominant position with a 40 points to 15 win in the Gwent derby against Pontypool. And Newport's resurgence after losing the first 4. They've now won the last 5. And Newport 54, RGC 31. Into the Prem, Bargoed 55, Brecon 7. Cross Keys versus Murphy was postponed. Yeah, any amount of rain, Cross Keys, that river, it's not good. And Newbridge lost away to Llangennech 25-18. The championship, Ableri Blaenau 32, Mountain Ash 29. Quite a thrilling game there. Treorchy 26, Penaltha 7, and Annisty versus Bed was postponed. Division 1, Blaenavon versus Abergavenny was postponed. Brynmawr 15, Blaenau 12, local derby there. Dowlais versus Blackwood was also postponed. And Monmouth 7, Newport High School Old Boys 32. Into Division 2, Croesakilliog 28, Cwmbran 24. The big Tesco derby there. Pill Harriers 5, Newport Saracens 8. And then Pontypool United versus St Geneve was postponed, as was Rumney versus Abercarn. And Ask 8, Caldicot 7. Division 3, Killian 10, Machen 13. Fleur-de-Lis versus RTB Ebervale was postponed. Nantiglow 10, Gwynafyd 40. New Panteg 25, Glandifife 29, and Risca versus Chepstow was postponed. All games in Division 4 were postponed. And then Division 5, Betos 19, Hartridge 15. Are Hartridge not Hartridge High School Old Boys anymore? Have they dropped that bit? I don't know what's happening. Blackwood Stars versus Bargoed Athletic was postponed. And Trinant 8, Haverderanis 7. And Division 6, Mago 7, St Julian's High School Old Boys 35. New Tredegar versus Hirwaun was postponed, and Old Tolerians 11, Brynifel 15.
Lovely stuff. Is that it?
That is it.
Yeah, just touching on SRC, Super Rugby Cymru. So Ebro are top of the league, 9 points clear. They are flying, Gavio boys. They are in a really, really good season with a game in hand as well. 9 points clear with a game in hand. Newport now up to 4th. They've recovered really well after you said earlier. Their tricky start, wasn't it? Losing first 4 games. And Pontypool have been very disappointing.
They're struggling a bit.
Yeah, but they've got the biggest allocation of Dragons boys as well, which is slightly worrying. But yeah, they're bottom of the league. Yeah, not a good season for Pula. Right, moving on. Festive derbies. It's that time of the year coming up. So we're away to Cardiff on Boxing Day. Then it's the big one. On New Year's Day, we got the Scarlets coming to town. Gareth, what is your hopes now and expectations heading into these festive derbies? Because going back to back now gives the Dragons a bit more confidence and momentum heading into this festive period, doesn't it?
Yeah, we know we can do it. And we've won in 2 drastically different ways as well. And we won a sort of a war and battling from behind, and one where we've blown a team away. What am I hoping for? I mean, you want to win both games, obviously, but we've had a 6-day turnaround to Connacht. We've got a 6-day turnaround to Cardiff and a 6-day turnaround to the Scarlets. You can't play players to death.
Well, we haven't. We've rotated. We rotated against
and
Leon,
I think he'll continue to rotate. It's mad, but I think if it's me, I'm targeting the Scarlets game. One, it's at home, so I have a bigger chance of winning. Make Rodney Parade that fort to us, which I believe is becoming again. And also the league table. I don't want to finish worst Welsh region. And beating the Scarlets will go away to securing that.
We're currently second best Welsh region.
There you go. See, positivity.
Are we 14th in the table? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Ospreys are bottom.
Dallas are 15th,
Stop the
Ospreys are
count.
bottom.
Don't often see Ospreys bottom of the league, do you?
No. Yeah, it's we don't want to see 3 Welsh teams at the bottom 3.
Oh,
But
absolutely not.
we
No.
don't want to finish at the bottom. We have to beat the Scarlets. Otherwise they'll leapfrog us. But going to Cardiff, look, we had that disgrace a few years ago. Nightmare on Westgate Street, was it, Jamie?
That was my line. Yeah,
your
thank you very
line,
much. Yeah.
Very good. And I'm certainly not expecting that, nor would I accept that. Look, let's go to Cardiff. Let's play with some bravery and let's be accurate and see what we can come away with. Cardiff are a good team. They'll bounce back now after a loss against the Scarlets. And they blew a lot of chances getting in the 22 without scoring.
Callum Sheedy's decision making appeared to be.
What was that kick at the end? What the hell was that? He had a good game up until then.
Yeah, no, he did. He had a good game. But that was like he'd replaced his brain with some kind of random number generator.
That was, yeah, that was poor. So I expect a bit of a bounce back from them losing at home. But Cardiff, as much as it pains me to say, Cardiff are a good side.
They are.
They were a good side at home, and we haven't beaten them for a long time. And I believe when we do beat them, the chances are we're going to do it at Rodney Parade. For me, the Scarlets actually is the big one.
Yeah.
But goes without saying, we need to put in a good fight at Cardiff. And if we can come away with a point, I actually think league points are important. I want us to get a point in Cardiff or 2 points or whatever, and then go and beat the Scarlets and see what we can do in this table. We've got more winnable games throughout the season then as well. But on these short turnarounds, yeah, I think we've got a few people back, hopefully Wainwright to come in. But some positions, would you rest Levi? You can't play him every single week. Would you save him for the home game against the Scarlets? I don't know. It's tough.
Have him on the bench, maybe.
Yeah.
The bench.
He needs to have get a sizable part in both games.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think maybe bench for Cardiff, starting with Carter, hopefully then for the Scarlets home. Yeah, no, we need to get a couple of bodies back, don't we? Especially in the front row. So, everyone's acquitted themselves well.
But we've got the options there, haven't we? We've got. I'm not worried about the front row now.
Yeah, we've got a lot of injuries, but we've also now got selection headaches because players are putting their hands up. Like, do you start Rodri Williams?
No.
I won't personally.
No.
Wainwright has to start at 8, but then dropping Keddy seems harsh because he's been brilliant.
And I'd like to see Big Mac go against Cardiff if he's allowed.
Yeah, but he might not be allowed to. It depends what the clause was in his loan deal. I would have liked him to come on against Connacht, actually. It was a bit of a shame he's not in the 23. I don't quite know why. But then again, how good was Keddy, and it's tough, but it's good, isn't it? It's good that we're getting selection headaches.
Well, back row, like Wayno gets a place, but then who else would you select for the
definitely Woodman?
And then Thomas Young was on the bench, and he's fantastic. But Harry Beddle was brilliant.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
My back row would be, if I was picking a back row, I'd probably go Woodman at 6. Because I know Shane Lewis-Hughes has been really good for us, but I think Woodman is coming on really, really well now, and he's making our jersey his own. And he's a very good line-out operator. I'd have Woodman at 6, Thomas Young at 7, and I'd have Wayno at 8.
I think I'd agree. Yeah, I'd agree.
You could go Shane Lewis-Hughes at 6. You could even put Wainwright at 6 and maybe have Keddy at 8 because he did very well there. There's options, is what I'm saying, but that would be my starting back row.
I think I'd have that back row against Scarlets home, so maybe I'd mix it up against Cardiff.
So would you pick then?
I'd stick with Beddle.
Okay.
Good breakdown threat away at Cardiff. Then again, Thomas Young, especially against a former club.
But he was benched, though. Exactly, he was benched.
Against them.
So I'm thinking he's going to start if he was benched.
So I imagine Thomas Young. I would actually go Thomas Young, Wainwright at 6, and Big Mac at 8 if he's allowed, and save Woodman for the Scarlets game.
Yeah, I agree with you, Gav. I think Scarlets is the biggest game, not Cardiff, sorry. I know that'll be hyped up, East Wales Derby, all this nonsense. The record will be brought up, no doubt. It's worth mentioning, Cardiff got a couple of embarrassing records against Welsh regions, so they haven't beaten Scarlets at the Arms Park for 6 years. Like, for the past 6 years, they have been owned by the Scarlets on their own patch. That's pretty embarrassing. Even the Dragons have beaten Scarlets at home in the past 6 years. Yeah. And also, I was told by an Ospreys fan, now this might need to be fact checked, I don't know, but I saw a comment saying that Cardiff haven't beaten Ospreys at the Arms Park since 2017. They've beaten them in like other stadiums, but they haven't beaten the Ospreys at the Arms Park since 2017. Now that might need to be fact checked, I don't know, but see, we've all got these sort of embarrassing records, haven't we? You know, like everyone will talk about our record against Cardiff, and it is embarrassing. It's not great. We've had multiple opportunities to beat them. We could have and should have beaten them on no end of occasions, but you know, we just haven't got over the line. But we all have our bogey teams, and Cardiff seems to be ours. So, I mean, I watched our Welsh derby, and I mean, Scarlets were so ill disciplined. I mean, they were giving away so many penalties. I think they were down to 30 men at one stage as well, wasn't it? And they still won. And Cardiff
Well,
had over 20 entries in their 22, and they just weren't clinical enough.
for 40 minutes, it was a really like dull game.
Yeah.
And then for 40 minutes, it was absolute chaos.
But it does show that there's a mental block. So obviously Cardiff do have a mental block against the Scarlets in Cardiff. That's clear now. And they have one against the Ospreys as well, Cardiff. But we have that mental block against Cardiff.
Yeah.
It's just funny how it works, isn't it? And you do feel like law of averages say we will eventually beat them, but I don't think it's going to be on Boxing Day. But you're absolutely right, Gav. I do think Scarlets, for me, that's the big one. That's the one we really got to target. It's a home game. You got to win your home games. Yeah, I think I'd be interested to see what team Tia picks for Boxing Day. Gavin, what about you then? What are your thoughts and expectations heading into the festive derbies?
I think I agree with you. I'd like to see us competitive at Cardiff Arms Park, but you know, if we don't win, it's not the end of the world. But yeah, really target beating Scarlets at
Yeah.
home.
I agree. Yeah, absolutely. I'm feeling quite positive now about these festive derbies. I wasn't before, but now I feel like we can actually. I feel like we're going to win one of these games. Put it that way. I don't know
So
who,
do I.
but I
So do I.
actually feel like now Dragons are going to win one of these games. Do you feel? Well, you think all the time, Gav, do Dragons are going to win? So it's no point asking you how you
Mate,
feel about
it's
it.
not been in doubt. I wasn't in doubt before we beat Leon, let alone now that I'm riding the crest of a wave.
I know.
We're going to go on a run and make the playoffs, mates.
There it is. Oh, love
Just
it.
breathe, Gareth. Just breathe.
Predictions for the derbies. What are we saying? Cardiff Boxing Day and Scarlets New Year's Day.
Cardiff by 4, and then Scarlets Dragons by 6.
Gareth?
I'll say Cardiff by 8, and then Dragons to beat the Scarlets by 6.
Okay, good stuff. I'm going Cardiff by 7 and Dragons by 3 points on New Year's Day. But let's hope that we get a big crowd in on New Year's Day at Rodney Parade. And let's hope we can replicate the same atmosphere. And Scarlets fans, to their credit, Scarlets fans, they do travel. They will bring very good away support.
So you're going to have a cup of tea and a Twix on that game, are you?
Absolutely. That'll be my half-time treat. Yeah. Don't judge me, boys. Don't judge me. Anything else you want to add about the Dragons or the festive derbies before we move on?
No.
Okay.
Looking forward to it, though.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a massive game, that Scarlets one, isn't it? Absolutely massive. Right. Before we wrap up, I want to thank the guests that have appeared on this podcast this year. We've had some really good guests, boys, in fairness. So the following people I would like to thank. I'd like to thank Nick Webb from the BBC, Ollie Griffiths, remember he was on the pod, Chris Kerwin, Jason Tovey, Rob Rees, Dan Hallett and Ryan Price from the Dragon Supporters Club, Ed Bridges from the 1912 Exiles podcast. Remember we did that joint collaboration pod recorded in the Riverside? Just talking about, you know, the future, the Dragons, and Rodney Parade. Went down very well with county fans, apparently. So, yeah, thank you, Ed, for recording and sorting that out. Elgin Alderman from The Times, very posh, but very nice guy, wasn't he? Fair play to him. Graeme Bradbury, who we just spoke to. David Buttress. He came on the pod, 2 appearances now. And a certain special guest I don't want to name just yet. So, That is it, chaps. That's our final pod for 2025. Or is it, Mr. Leclerc? Is it our final pod for 2025?
Yeah, maybe the listeners, keep your eye on your socials over Christmas. Then again, if we beat Cardiff, there'll be a live feed from my house as something gets thrown at the telly.
Do you remember that story years ago? It happened in a rugby club. Somebody bet about Wales beating England, and the guy cut his balls off. I just thought of that story as soon as you say that you're going to rip off your manhood and throw it at the TV. I mean, it's a very strange and painful thing to do, but whatever floats your boat, I guess. But yeah.
Don't tear your penis off.
I mean, I
Don't
was
do it.
probably exaggerating. It's more, if we beat Cardiff, I'll probably definitely be giving it a pull, put it that way.
Yeah, so if you haven't subscribed to us, don't know where to go from there. If you haven't subscribed to us, please make sure you do, because I don't want you missing out on this bonus pod episode that's going to be dropping. Minor Christmas bonus. Be nice. And he was a good guest as well, wasn't he, Gareth?
He's very good. Yeah.
Bit of a hero of yours, isn't he?
Definitely a hero. It was short and sweet, but it was really good, wasn't it?
It was. I enjoyed it. I think our listeners will really enjoy it as well.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you to our friends at Riverside Sports Bar for their continued support of the pod. Thank you, Gareth. Thank you, Gavin. It was great to see you, Gav, on Saturday. We had a good night, didn't we? It was really nice to meet up with you in person and have a few beers. We had a laugh.
It was great. I did the train journey home. Was not great.
No. But what a performance, though, to come down and watch. Do you know what I mean? Can you imagine if you come down and we got absolutely hosed by Connacht? It would have been a bit depressing, but what a performance that was. I think they knew you were coming down, Gavin. They wanted to put on a show for you.
Yeah, obviously.
That's clearly what it was. As well as me being over the terrace, I clearly inspired some people. And thank you for listening, our lovely listeners, and supporting us. We're building a nice little community. We was talking about this on Saturday, weren't we, boys? The amount of people now engaging with us. Like I said, Ospreys fans, Cardiff fans, listening to us. Why? I don't know, but they are, and we really appreciate it. We hope you all have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And we'll see you all next year. Won't we, boys?
Merry Christmas.
Absolutely.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Up the dragons.
Come on.